Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be going over the supercharged RSX. Finally finished. I can't be happier. I'm going to go over the few things in the video on some of the issues. Thankfully it wasn't the head gasket being bad. Everything was tested and good to go on that part. And I also want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to SM Performance, which is in Trafford, PA. Sode at SM Performance is the one who pretty much did all the modifications and everything for this last run of the vehicle. So big shout out to him, big thanks to him. Go show him some love on his channels and social medias and everything like that. His Instagram, Facebook, whatnot. And we'll be diving into the video, and I'll be trying to touch on a little bit of the things. So yeah, so we'll be going over a few other things and kind of touching on everything, but stay tuned for that, and we're gonna get straight into it. All right, so I gotta pull this fuel pump out and see what the issue is for it not getting fuel. So whenever I was getting the car back, or whenever he showed me the dyno video, I was losing so much fuel pressure, which was kind of weird. I'm kind of hoping that there's nothing arcing out for the wires or anything like that, which I don't know if it could be a sensor or anything, but which I'm hoping it isn't. I don't know if it's like the E85 sensor for this, so let me not lose these. Yeah, let me not lose these. So I'm really curious as to what it could be. I don't know if there's like something with the way the wires are spliced, or if the fuel pump, like a wire might be cut or something, but this should be, I shouldn't have too many issues with it. So let me see if I can pop this on. So there's that one, which I'm thinking it could be from this harness here. So, oh boy. Ooh, crusty. So, yeah, let me get all this taken off, and we'll kind of pick back up right there. Okay. Which I'm not sure what the issue could be with this. And I already checked the wires, so I guess we'll kind of see what happens when I pull this out. So I'm gonna get these off and I'll pull it out, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so cut that loose. Now we're gonna see, move all this, if I can pull this out with one hand or if I'll need both. I'm hoping I can get it with just one. It might be a little tough, but we'll see. Hopefully I can. Which, my tank shouldn't be too full, because this was really low. So we'll see what I can do here. And just let's pull. These do articulate, so if you ever have to pull one out of yours, they swivel. So pulling it like one hand, this isn't really hurting, and it should be fine. I just got to move the lines out of the way and make sure they don't snag. But you do have to watch out for the float, and that's what I'm trying to be careful for. So she's coming, but just like I said, I'm not trying to damage the float. My tank is pretty low, which is good. I don't have to worry about too much fuel in there. I'm going to set the camera down, and I'm going to get this out with two hands because I don't want to damage anything. So, okay, so here it is. And this is supposed to be the kit that Deechworks sells, which is rated for like 700 or 800. I think it's rated 900 on pump gas and then 700 on E85, which this car obviously is well capable of handling the, you know, rated fuel level. It's down a little bit since the intake dropped the boost, since there's a lot more volume. So the intake did drop me like, I think 3 or 4 psi of boost, so I'm not making as much power. I went from 543 to just 2 horsepower under 500, so 500. So basically lost pretty much 50 horsepower, but this car is well capable of handling the amount of fuel, but for some reason it just keeps dropping off whenever he would do the pulls. So I'm gonna pull this apart and see maybe if there's something up with the pump or something might not be connected all the way. But for the most part, it does look pretty good. Like everything on seems pretty fine. Like these should be rated to handle that amount of fuel pressure and everything. And I don't know if like anything's collapsing. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know if anything might be clogged, but it doesn't look like anything's in there. So I don't know. So yeah, I guess we'll start pulling this apart and we'll see what's up with this pump. Okay, so what I think is happening is this sock might be collapsing in there, not allowing the flow. It's just creating such a vacuum and so much fuel is coming through this. It's sucking this closed because it's kind of wedged in here, which isn't really the best thing. But for taking these apart, they're pretty simple too. Just 4 tabs, one there, one in the back there, and then one on the other side. So that's what I really think is happening. Honestly, that might be a super simple fix. But this pump is rated, this should be a 400. This pump is rated to handle, you know, all the power that we're making for this. So hopefully if I fix this, we might run a little rich afterwards. So, but honestly, I might have to just cut this, which wouldn't harm it or anything like that. I do have an extra one, which was the stock one that came out. So I'm thinking what I might do is cut the other one and then swap the bottom portion, which probably would help solve the issue that we're having. So I'm going to dig around for the other one and see what we can figure out for this and kind of hopefully alleviate the fuel PSI pressure drop issue that we're having. So let me go find that one and then we'll kind of pick up from that point and see what we can figure out. I actually have 2, which is really awesome. One I think is a completely stock one, and then this was the modified one I was telling you guys about. So here is what is the difference between the Deechworks one and the one that I had in there prior. So as you can see, this one obviously has a longer sock on it, and then the bottom is cut out as well. So yes, there's a little bit of debris in here. I probably will go with the new sock because of the little bit of debris that is in there. I don't want to mess with it too much and run that, but see how this bottom section is cut out on this. So I think this one, matter of fact, it might be slightly different to where it won't click in, but I might have to end up cutting this bottom portion out of this, which I don't really know is the greatest thing, but I didn't have any issues with this one fuel pressure wise. So I'm gonna see if we can get that all routed. And then this one ended up failing at 1.2. I think this just from setting around cracked, but like I said, I never had any issues with this one. This is a stock Honda one, as you can see. So Honda right there, the Denso, and then I believe this one is too. Yeah, so use other parts. Yep, another Denso Honda one. So these are both bone stock, and the Deechworks one is slightly different. So what I might have to do is just cut this bottom out and probably just run a larger sock for it. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe mess with some stuff, rig something up. But you can see how small this sock is. This obviously is honestly probably way too small for this pump setup and everything like that, compared to this sock, when this sock is the pretty much almost the whole length of this little like hanger assembly. So I'm gonna mess with this and see what I can ooh, that's not good. See what I can figure out and see what I can get swapped around. Hopefully I can get it sorted out and then drop this one directly back in. So I will mess with that and we'll get back to it. Okay, so I ended up throwing the pump back in and put everything back together, put all the lines back on everything, and did a two-step check. So I'll clip that in right now. After the two-step check and everything seemed fine, I was still trying to find if the if the fuel pressure was falling off. So I went ahead and I also checked the gauge while I was doing the two-step check. And also I have the app for Hondata, which nothing was showing up for it. But this, as you can see, I went ahead and I filled this up. So this does have the back little rubber grommet in the back here to fill this up, and got that to see just to stabilize the needle, because I did notice when these are dry they do kind of rattle a little bit, and that's kind of like a little side thing. My last one broke because of that. It was just vibrating so bad it broke the needle off. But that aside, that's kind of like random. We're gonna see maybe if we can just go back to regular 93, if that helps anything. I think it might for the time being. I might just have to switch back to 93 until I figure out the issue with the boost and everything like that. So that's kind of where we're at on this, and then maybe I'll do some pulls. But other than that, I can't really find anything else. Like everything else seems fine. The wire, so here's the wire and everything for the E85 harness, which is like back there and runs the whole way here. So that's kind of where we're at with this car. Everything else though is pretty much dialed. Let me go back and I'll show you everything that we did. And honestly, I completely forgot to go over and touch all the other mods because I've been so focused on trying to get the fuel taken care of. But as you can see, we finally have the intake put on. I can't explain to you how nice this intake is. I really do think it is for style points. I think you have to make a lot more power for it to be justifiable. Since we're at 500 now and not really pushing more power like we were trying to, it's kind of really for style points. You know, I can't really complain. I mean, it's nice, but I can't really complain, honestly. So yeah, this did make us lose some power because obviously it's bigger, a lot more volume is flowing through here. So that's kind of where we're at on that. The valve cover, which I swapped out mine for one that he had powder coated already, which was pretty sick. So big change in the whole engine bay. It makes the look way nicer, so everything looks a lot cleaner. And sorry if it looks kind of dirty on camera. This does need cleaned up a little bit because I put my hands all on it and everything like that. So we got the valve cover, the intake manifold. We have the K-tuned tensioner, which deletes a lot of stuff. Like you can see how much more room is here. Like if you look, everything right here that was usually right here is gone, and that kind of goes into the next thing we're going to touch on. So you guys are usually familiar with a lot of things that goes right here, but it's all gone. And as you can see in the back, if I can get a good angle, we got that guy. So we ended up going EP3 electric power steering, and he got that put in and everything. And I will tell you, if you have an RSX, it doesn't matter if it's a base model, a Type S, whatever, EP3 power steering is definitely the way to go for this car. Honestly, it steers so much nicer. I can't even complain. It steers so good. It's so easy to turn. It's probably the best thing so far that has happened in terms of modifications. It's probably the best mod you can do for RSXs across the board. So power steering, reservoir and everything is deleted. The old power steering rack is deleted. Electric power steering, which steers phenomenally. It's honestly perfect, the best thing ever. And then just little odds and ends like the adapter for the 90 to 70 mil throttle body to fit this manifold, and then tidied up everything, like vent tube went down and everything, and then a vent tube there for some of the ports, like vacuum ports and everything, and then chopped the hood a little bit too, just to fit the manifold, because this manifold is kind of tall and it doesn't quite clear, so he had to chop a little bit of the hood to make it fit and everything like that. And then another thing we got was a DTR exhaust manifold. So full DTR header, and then it pairs into the HKS high power exhaust that we have on this. With all the stuff that we have done to this, there shouldn't be any reason for us to make a lot more of the power that we want to chase or make or whatever. I might leave it like this for now. I think everything in terms of the power is fine. So 500, it sits pretty nice. It seems really tame now with all the upgrades and everything. And I do think this is like the final revision of this car for everything. We also got bigger injectors, which I forgot to mention too. But we got, I think these are 1600s. So bigger injectors, intake, header, valve cover, all that other stuff, electric power steering. So that's pretty much it for this car. I don't really think there's going to be much in terms of more modifications. I think from this point it's going to be tidy up some other things, so more or less like cosmetic stuff. I do have to get a couple dents out, especially on the door. Have to rewrap the door because the wrap is kind of like scratched and it needs redone, but that's all easy stuff. Definitely am probably going to redo the calipers at one point from yellow to another color. So that's pretty much it for this car. So huge shout out to SM Performance. I'm going to link all his stuff in the bottom in the description, so socials and everything. Honestly, if you need anything in the immediate Trafford area or southwestern PA area, which is where his shop is, definitely feel free to go up there and check him out. Very wholesome dude, very good dude. Took care of me 100% and got this car completely and 100% dialed. So all the rest of the stuff that I have the capability of messing with, I'm going to. Like I said, from here it's all cosmetic stuff, and we'll probably at some point go back to see if we're still having the fuel related issue, but I think it's just an E85 thing because you need so much more E85 than you do regular 93. But yeah, so that's where we're at with this car. If you guys want to see me do a lot more with this car, you know, go ahead, leave me a comment down below, give me a like, follow, subscribe, whatever. Like I said, shoot me some ideas down in the comments what you guys want to see. If you want to see drag stuff, you know, circuit stuff, if you want to just see daily vlogs with it, you know, cruises, whatever, POVs, just go ahead and leave it down in the description, and yeah, we'll see you guys from there. Peace.